The world is ever changing. The conversation is ever shifting, and we need to know as brands how to adapt to these shifts without losing our identities. So how do you show up and provide consistency? In this video, I'm sharing the 4 rules that you need to know in order to be a consistent brand in a changing landscape. So go ahead and hit that like button and let's get into it. The first thing I want to mention is that being consistent does not equate to a lack of adapting and evolving. It's important as humans that we don't just stick to the way things were always done just because we're trying to be a consistent brand presence. Ideas like it's not wise to make a stance because I'm a business and businesses shouldn't alienate people who disagree aren't generally accepted any longer. People want to see humanity in the businesses that they support, and they want to know what those businesses believe and how they're going to respond to injustices and tragedies and world events. So just know that as a brand, being consistent doesn't mean not changing. It just means that you are consistently representing your mission and purpose, and when needed, you adapt and you respond. This brings us to the first rule of consistency. The first rule is that you need to remember that you are a brand. And seems obvious, but it's so easy for some creatives to forget this fact. And it's probably because a lot of creatives work solo. They have their own business, but they're also just freelance individuals. It's easy to forget that your social media account for your brand, for your business, is not the same thing as a personal account or a journal that you can just share whatever's on your mind at any point. It is a representation of you and your business. You are an individual, but you're also professionally a brand. And knowing that, it's like knowing the rules of the game before you play a sport. It doesn't make you any less of an athlete or any less of a talented player. It just means that you know what you're working with when you step out on the court or step out on the field. And yes, I did just make a sports reference in a video for creatives. Sorry about that. The best brands don't jump into supporting something until they can make a statement that they can back up with action. Why? Because if they just blurt out the first thing that comes to mind, then their audience might call them out for making statements without substance or making statements that they can't follow through on. I'm not telling you not to say something and to stay silent. I'm just telling you that whatever you say, you need to be able to back up with action steps. How can you use your perspective as a creative to support causes? How can you use your specific channel, your specific line of work to offer help? The best example I can give right now is, this video. I can coach creatives about what to say when big world events happen because I know that it can be hard to think of what to say. And as a person that is a professional in branding and marketing, I can offer my expertise to help you to be able to support those causes you want to support in a really meaningful way. I can help support Black Lives Matter by contributing to Black creatives on Patreon. It just feels right for me and it's in alignment because it's already aligned with what I do as a creative brand coach. This brings me to rule number 2, which is kind of tied into remembering that you are a brand. And that is you need to know what your impact is as a brand. When you want to react to a news event on your social media, before you post anything, you should be asking yourself, how can I show support in a way that is true to the impact of my brand? Your impact is how you fulfill your purpose as a creative. What's your mission? What's your purpose? What's the meaning behind it all? How do you make a difference? If you're a musician, your impact is not making music. It's changing people's emotions or providing a soundtrack to their life or helping to make them dance, right? Use that channel, use that impact to show support. Be specific about how you offer help and do it in a way that is true to the impact of your brand. When you post, you can frame your statement in a way that supports the impact of your brand. For the musician example, share your favorite song that shows how you feel right now in this moment. Offer free music lessons to people in need. Pledge your support financially to a music organization that works in inner city. Whatever it is that feels aligned to you as a musician, do that specifically. There are so many things that you can do through your channel that will mean so much more than a generic copy and paste post. I do need to put a sidebar in here that, of course, it's super important to do the things that need to be done, like sign petitions or vote or donate to organizations that are really making a difference, like ACLU or things like that. It's really important to do those things. They're more generic, more general. But as a creative, you can also offer that specific impact-based support. For more information on what to actually post on social media, you can listen to the Creative Brand Sessions podcast, episode number 37. I'll leave a link to that in the description. Rule number 3 is you should always avoid panic posting. Panic posting is when you post without thinking, and usually it's out of panic that you won't look supportive or professional. Panic posting is never a good idea. There have been instances where brands post out of reactivity and then they're immediately called out for their empty words because of some big oversight on their part. Or they offer their support without substance, so they're called out because their thoughts and prayers don't mean a lot without actual action or change. The goal with posting in support or empathy is to show your solidarity, but also to show your plan of action for change. You also want to make sure that you don't play the expert unless you are one. Focus on sharing the words of experts or of people who are directly affected, and don't try to put the spotlight on your knowledge of the issue. This isn't about you, so you need to actually just post in support and don't try and make it the spotlight on how much you know about the issue. And of course, you need to make sure that you do follow up your post with action. Check in after you take a few steps forward. Make sure that you're keeping track of what you're doing to actually make change. It's not about bragging about how great you are. It's just about making sure that you are showing that you have substance behind your promises, right? The 4th rule here, you need to be brave. Especially when the issues that are happening are pointing directly towards you, like if you're a white person in the midst of the Black Lives Matter movement. It's time to step up and be brave and take action. Being brave means you don't make it about you when it's not supposed to be. Being brave means that you don't let your fear of saying it the wrong way stop you from saying something. Being brave means having uncomfortable conversations with an open mind. Being brave means not being afraid to actually take action and move forward with change. Social media isn't the end point for social change, but it is a good starting point. And it's inevitable that the conversation about social change will come across your doorstep as a brand. So it's time to come up with a plan for how you're going to approach things the next time a hashtag goes viral. This conversation is all about creating consistency as a brand. But did you know that I have 2 other C's that you can remember when you're building a better brand? The 3 C's are a part of my Phony-Free Marketing Formula, and I'm sharing all about how that works in the next video. So go ahead and click the thumbnail and check it out. Make sure you subscribe for new videos every Friday, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.